America. It's been portrayed as the American dream. But does this cause undue pressure on women today? More than ever, women are pressured to be the perfect person, to be able to get the kids to school and soccer practice and take care of them, to cook, clean, take care of their husband, and still be able to maintain the perfect body and have an extra job on the side. This undue pressure has led women, among other things, to turn to alcohol and drugs as a means of coping. How do we prevent this epidemic from sweeping the nation and overcoming the women today in our society? Join us as we discuss this topic.
Nationally, almost half of all women aged 15 to 44 have used drugs at least once in their lifetime. This involves approximately 2 million who used cocaine, 6 million who used marijuana, and 4 million who used prescription drugs non-medically.
So Karen, I am curious, what were your drugs or drug of choice, and why did you use them?
Well, alcohol was my main drug of choice, and then second was cocaine. And alcohol I loved because I'm more of a shy, reserved type person, and it like brought me out of my shell. I loved that about alcohol. And also cocaine, I loved for many reasons, but one of them was it made me skinny. Like I was probably my skinniest when I was using alcohol and cocaine, and I felt so good about the way I looked, but it was really funny because everyone else thought I looked like hell.
Oh, wow. So there was some cognitive distortion there.
Very much so.
Okay.
Very much so.
And so would you say then that for women who are using, that to them one of the payoffs is their appearance?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with a stimulant.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really funny because my roommate, she was like Miss Perfect. She was valedictorian. She was like a great artist, worked full-time job, but she abused Adderall, which was a stimulant. So she had an addiction. It just wasn't as apparent as mine. And this addiction helped her to be very accomplished. So she was skinny because of the Adderall. And she got a lot done. So she was like, everyone thought she was like Woman of the Year. So it's just interesting.
That is interesting. And so, while obviously there are some awful things that always come out of addiction, we see how people, especially women, could feel the need to continue in their addiction.
Yeah.
Not only does the drug have a hold on them, but their physique, their physical outward appearance can also be altered.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Females have less muscle tissue than men, and the enzymes that metabolize alcohol are less efficient in women. Therefore, the alcohol in their bodies is less diluted. For women, substance abuse is linked to sexual assault, unwanted pregnancies, and diseases such as lung cancer, cirrhosis, and AIDS, as well as skyrocketing prison populations and child abuse and neglect.
All right, Karen. So, what led you to start using your drug of choice?
Well, I had two drugs of choice, alcohol and cocaine. What led me to start using alcohol was partying at first, just going out and partying with my friends, and just like being able to be more outgoing and like not so reserved and all that kind of stuff. That's what led me to use alcohol. And then as time went on and I had traumas with boyfriends and like depression and struggling really majorly in school, I started retreating more to alcohol as like a solace. And I started drinking more to handle with the pain. And then I started using cocaine when I met my ex-boyfriend Tommy, and like that's really when I met Tommy was when it really just like snowballed, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse, and his lifestyle I kind of picked up, and so my struggles, my own struggles with feeling like a failure at school, not knowing what I was doing with my life, my past trauma, like really expressed and manifested themselves when I was with Tommy. And like he really like was able to norm it all for me and to support this so I could party with him, do cocaine, be gone all with him, and it was normal. I thought it was normal.
Though downtrodden at times, women have remarkable strengths. For instance, they have better intuition, are better nurturers, and are better cooperators and communicators than men in general. Plus, the 2 highest IQs ever recorded belong to women.
Well, before I got on drugs, I was a really good person. I went to college and had my son, my oldest son. And after my oldest son, I got about 3 years old. Then I started indulging in drugs. Came home from Nashville and met some people and started using the drugs. And then I used it for about a couple of years, and then I stopped. My drug of choice was at that time was powder, and it went from powder to crack cocaine, and it was just, I don't know really how it just happened. One night I was with a group of people, and they was like, try this, and I was like, okay, and I liked it, and I continued to use it, and
The use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs during pregnancy is a leading preventable cause of mental, physical, and psychological impairments in children. A recent survey shows that 5.5% of pregnant women report using illicit drugs while pregnant, 18.8% drink alcohol, and 20.4% smoke tobacco.
What do you think could have prevented your use of alcohol and cocaine?
That's a really hard question because it's hard to see how things could be different. Because I remember times when early signs, like when I got my first DUI, and I was really young, I was like 20, and this was before everything happened. My parents did all the right things. Like, they took the car away, they got me into counseling, and I feel like, looking back on it, maybe trying to find my purpose, you know, like really listening to my heart, that I wasn't happy at art school, and I remember telling my parents a lot, like, I'm not happy here, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't think they really heard me. So I just felt trapped. So I think maybe, some early stuff like that would have really helped.
Hi, Ludine.
Hi.
I'm just curious about treatment with women and what not to do when treating women who are recovering from substance abuse.
Okay. Well, personally, for me, having worked with women in a treatment center, I find that not giving the women in the treatment center an opportunity to have some community, like gender-specific community, is pretty much not really helpful on the road to recovery. I think that women and men are different, obviously, and so their needs need to be met as far as like medical concerns, being able to be open and talk about maybe some traumatic sexual experiences. It's really not helpful, in my opinion, to have a co-ed treatment program and not be mindful about what women might need. So yeah.
Stress management is vital for women. Some ideas are better organization, breaking bigger jobs into smaller jobs, taking frequent breaks, and not being afraid to ask for help.
So, Karen, what was the cutoff point for you? When did you realize that you needed to stop, that maybe this destructive behavior was just not beneficial anymore?
Well, I had many, many, many of those times. I can't tell you how many chaotic moments I've had. But I think there's just so many. But one of the major ones was, I crashed my car and I spent a couple days in jail. So that was huge. And I didn't even know where I was. Like, I woke up in jail and I had no idea, like, where I was, what county I was in. So that was major wake-up moment. But I still used after that. Not only as few times. The last time was kind of, I wasn't anything legal, but it was, I always used to drink around guys. Like, guys were kind of my weakness. I would get nervous around guys, and so I would drink, and I would also, want to meet guys, and so I would go out and drink and go out with my friends. So I feel like guys were always that common denominator, and I went out with an old friend, and he ended up leaving me stranded. So that was the last time I drank, and it was really, because I'd done some good work before that, so, and I had to call my parents, which I've had to do so many times, and tell them what was going on, and I'd been doing really well before that. So I think after doing well and then having like a fall was like, I knew how it was good, and then I could just all of a sudden see real quickly how it was bad.
Oh, wow.
And that was it. Like, I haven't, ever since then, I haven't drank
That's
or done
great.
anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Exercise is a fantastic way to fight off life's stress. Not only does it increase your energy, but it also fights off disease, promotes better sleep, and improves your mood.
The Center for Substance Abuse Treatment has done some studies that overall for women and for men it's especially vital to make sure that the environment is supportive, optimistic, and that instills hope. And so we have the AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, that provides a sense of community where people can come. More and more we're finding that treatment centers are incorporating a spirituality aspect to an individual's recovery process. So basically allowing that person to rely on their higher power to get more hope, to get more optimistic about the recovery process. Relapse prevention is really important too, because what you're trying to do at this point is help the individual replace some of their unhealthy behaviors with healthy behaviors, and that may mean changing their environment, changing the people that they talk to or that they associate themselves with, so that they can remain on the road to recovery.
Then I started seeing, I was working. I had got my job at Brock Candy Company, making good money, and that just escalated the habit more because I had the funds to do it.
What drugs were you addicted to? You mentioned Pilot and cocaine. What is Pilot?
Powder.
Oh,
powder.
Okay, could you break that down for us?
Okay, yes. Powder is, crack cocaine is a hard substance, which is made from powder cocaine. Most people use powder cocaine. They either toot it or they either smoke it in a cigarette. So that was how I first started. And then I merged on to bigger things. I went from that to crack. And when it got to the crack part, it was just really hard for me to come off.
One way that women can avoid turning to drugs is by finding activities that they enjoy, including joining a club or group, or possibly trying something new.
Last question. Why do you think women in general begin using drugs?
To me, I would say you got a lot of single moms that's on drugs, and sometimes it's the weakness of, the weakness of us within us, And a lot of people women that's on drugs, they've had bad experiences. Like for me, I was kind of, and that I can't use that as an excuse why I became on drugs. But I came out of a dysfunctional family, and I kind of at that time used that, the fact that my mama bruised me and my brother and sister. I kind of used that as a crutch. So I think with the women, we take bad experiences that we have in our life, instead of just trying to work them out, we turn to something else, either a man or drugs.
Many researchers have found that gender-sensitive treatment is really helpful, especially when helping women who have abused substances. And they're saying that it's really important to help provide life skill training, so that women can kind of regain back their confidence and be able to join the community and having a sense of who they are. It's really important too to get the family involved. Now, this doesn't only work for women, it works for anyone who's abused substances. Many theories and thoughts in regards to treatment for individuals battling substance abuse really advocate for relationships being the antidote to basically having a successful recovery. And what that might look like is having the family of origin kind of like scrutinized and really looked at in such a way where the individual can separate themselves from the family and also learn how to ask for their needs to be met, how to receive the support that they need, and how to be understood. Because a lot of people don't have general understanding about substance abuse and what the individual is going through and why they're using that specific drug of their choice.
Women can fight back against society's undue pressure by setting realistic expectations for themselves, being alright with their best, educating themselves on the dangers of drug use, and building a strong social network to rely when times get tough.